Welcome back to The Way of the Songwriter. This time we're going to talk about the recording of our first EP, the Nils and Pau Vanlife EP in Australia. This is going to be the last episode of the introduction series, so it's going to be the last time that we talk about what happened in Australia, and then we're going to transition into our new adventure traveling Europe and hopefully the world with our new project. I want to talk about three things today regarding the EP that we recorded. First of all, how it all came together, because it's quite a funny story to tell because there are so many crazy coincidences that led us to recording this EP in the studio in the end. Second, the recording process. I have some nice footage from inside the recording studio and I want to tell you a little bit how the experience was for us as amateur musicians to get the chance to produce something with a nice producer in a nice studio. That was really great. And lastly, we've got these songs, which I want to put the focus of this video on because I think it's really cool to tell the story behind these songs, how they came together and what was the idea behind them, what was the feeling that we had when we recorded this and why did we write them. I met a music producer by walking randomly into some music school in a small city called Merimbula, or town probably. And I was riding with him when I was traveling with Paulo later on in Australia, and he told me that he needed someone to record a music video for him. And because Paulo is a nice video editor, we decided that we're going to make a little trade-off, and we made a deal with Ricky that said that we are going to be able to record 2 days in a studio and record this EP with him if we're going to make the music video for him. So that's what we did, and I'm really happy with it because we never would have imagined to like record an EP there and to do all this. It's just like happened, you know? There was no planning involved. And because of that, I think it's especially amazing that this all came together the way it did. The recording process. Well, actually we met Ricky in Sydney, coming down again from the north when I had picked up Paulo for a while and we were traveling around, and we recorded his video in Sydney, finished the editing in the weeks after, and met Ricky again in Merimbula, where I first met him as well on my way up. And he has like this really nice place outside in the nothing where he's just like on his own, his little house where he can just record everything. We came into this recording studio, we even helped him get his really big mixing desk in there, which was like quite a task as well. But in the end, it was like, you know, you're like a singer-songwriter starting out doing your music and you have no real clue how to put a production together, or even like, I was not even thinking about doing an EP. And just that this all worked out this way, I could not come up with that, you know? So basically we just arrived there, we parked our van outside, and we pretty much got into it from the beginning on, straight into the recording. And Ricky explained to us a little bit how normally a professional recording process would be working. We only had 2 days to finish the whole EP, so obviously we did not have time to put like layers and layers into every song and talk about the songwriting and everything. But we took what we had, we took what we were able to do at the moment, and we made the best of it. And that's why I'm proud that we can present this result in the end. Let's get to the songs. So we've recorded 5 songs in the end, and I'm going to show you a little snippet of each one in the beginning before talking about them, so you get kind of idea of the vibe that is going on in that song. And later on, if you want to check out the full songs, you can find them on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. I put a link in the description, so you can find that there if you want to. I want to go through them in the order that I actually wrote them, because that makes most sense story-wise, and tell you a little bit about how I wrote them, why and where, and like the story behind. He keeps talking about how the rain falls. I did not really So the first song is called The Van Plan, or on the EP it's called VAN. And this is a song that is about following your dreams and finding challenges in your life, just so that you can show yourself again and again what you're capable of. And I came to this idea for the song, basically, because when I was thinking about buying a van to travel around Australia, there were so many things that were like, I've never bought a car, let alone repairing one. I didn't know like what I have to look out for. I didn't know how to build a bed into this. I didn't know if I could structure all my university courses around. And people I told about this obviously thought that I couldn't do it, which is alright. It's the same like with this project right now. If I tell people I'm going to build a recording studio into a van and travel around the world, they're like, yeah, nice idea. And I can absolutely understand that, because it's not easy to believe in something like this. Not even for oneself. So, but how can I expect anyone to believe in me if I don't do it myself? So this is why I wrote this song, because this song should encourage people to just get to the work and challenge themselves again and again, just to see that whatever you put your mind to it, you can do it. You just really have to work for it and really want it.
But the waves of the ocean, they carry me away. I wish I could stay another day. But the waves of the ocean, they carry me away. I wish I could stay another night. But the trip of my hands has never been that tight.
Ondas was like the second song that I wrote, and this is probably my most favorite and also the most important song to me on this EP. I started writing this on the last day that I spent with the people from university, or the first day of my journey going off on my own. When Paolo was playing some chords on the beach, I just started singing to them and I came up with some lyrics. And looking back on it, I always realized the same pattern when I write songs, that I always start thinking about something, or, well, basically I'm just feeling, but I'm letting out emotions that I feel right now about something specific in my life. But looking back at these songs, I can always find that they describe some abstract principle of life or some abstract idea about whatever is going on in general. And this, I really see this in this song as well, because this song is called Waves. Ondas is the Spanish word for waves. And I know that most people believe that life moves like a wave, and they already believe in this principle of ups and downs, which I also believe that is true. And I think, I'm aware that I don't know anything, but I really believe that you can change the course, the overall course of this curve, because I don't think it's a line, I think it's a curve. And for me, it went like this, and I have these ups and downs, but they move like this. So I get a more, not more intense, but a deeper experience of happiness and real joy every time. The more I know about myself and life, which is basically the same, I can experience deeper feelings and deeper joy. And I still experience these down times where something backfires, where I'm afraid that this project will not work out. Moments where people leave me and I feel like heartbroken, or whatever life can throw at you. But I learned how to deal better with these emotions and how to see them as life lessons, as something that I'm also allowed to experience. And it's very different. And I would not say that my life goes like this. It definitely goes like this. So that's one reason why I called this song Ondas, Waves. But in that moment, I was just letting out feelings about a very specific situations. I met a girl in university, and I knew that I would have to let go of her. So this song is also a song about letting go of things, even though you enjoy them in that very moment. So I knew that I would have to let her go to go on my own journey. This is why the chorus says, and I wish I could spend another day but the waves of the ocean, they carry me away. And the waves of the ocean are obviously the waves of life that's just always continuing and always pushing you to go on and to never get too comfortable with where you are, because basically you can be comfortable wherever you are all the time if you feel this deep connection with life. So another reason why this song is so dear to me is that when I came to Marimbula the first time and I met Ricky there, I met him in this music school, like I told you in the last video, and it was completely random, but we sat down like the next evening and just recorded an acoustic version of this. And a few days later he sent it to me when I was like parking somewhere outside town in the parking lot in my van. In the middle of the night I got this message and I started listening to the song on my headphones, and I started crying because it was just so beautiful to see how this could sound. You know, you always struggle with lots of insecurities in life, and it got better and better for me, and you start to get some trust into your own capabilities and everything. But at that moment there was still so many things from my childhood, like not feeling good enough, questioning if you could ever do something great, and you always question yourself so much. Is my voice beautiful enough? Does my hair look pretty enough? It's like, am I doing enough good things to be a good human? And I understand, and this is like a very essential aspect that we all have to go through, but it's just the first step is to see, yes, I can do beautiful things, and I can sound very beautiful if this person records me the right way. And it was just so incredible to hear, to realize that, wow, I know there are lots of talented people out there that are doing stuff that is far better than what I am doing, but I can do something that is beautiful as well, so I have something to give to the world as well. And well, yeah, that went deep into my heart in that moment, and it opened up a door for me. And that's one reason why I want to do this new project right now, because I know there are lots of people like this out there, and I could see what this did with my potential, which just skyrocketed. And I know that there are so many other musicians out there who maybe they have not even written their own songs, and I can show them how they can write their own songs, because there's this creative force inside of us, this life in us that just wants to get out to help us express ourselves. And all we have to do is empty ourselves and stop thinking about why we are so important and if we are good enough or pretty enough, and realize that we are a blank canvas for life to draw on it. And that's what I want to be, and that's what I want to help people see in themselves as well. To drop all these expectations and just be there. And Ricky really helped me do that. So thank you, Ricky. Thank you for this experience. And thank you for helping us recording Ondas in the studio.
Leather skin, from the bottom of my feet to my chin. Leather skin, prepared for what the winds will bring. Keeps me safe on the road.
Leather Skin was something, for example, that I recorded, or I wrote while I was living at Bob's place. I told you about Bob in the last video, for example. It's the old man I met on the beach. It's a really interesting person, and I had a really deep connection with him the very first time I met him. He was like a grandfather for me, and I was staying at his place, and he introduced me to one of his friends. His name was Pete, and Pete is just... I love Pete. I can like honestly say I love Pete because he was a very adorable old man, and I just got along really well with him. I spent times like just hanging out with him on the couch, like watching sports and talking about life. So one day Pete was saying something like, I have this leather skin like worn out from the sun or something like this. And I immediately picked up my guitar and started playing something and started singing to it as well. And that's how I came up with Leather Skin, which in the end is a song about how life is not always easy and you always get confronted with challenges and difficulties. And we all tend to grow this leather skin from our head to our toes to protect ourselves. And again, I fully understand. We want to be strong. We want to be in control. We don't want to be crying and like being the weak person, that we think that we have to protect ourselves from emotion and from everything that's going on inside us. But this is not the way. As long as you protect yourself by building up walls or creating a leather skin against life, you cannot deal with these emotions. You cannot deal with your problems. And you need to, because then you can really be free of them. So this song is about that sometimes it makes sense to let go of your protection and to take down your walls, be weak, be vulnerable, and be emotional, to show people what you feel, to deal with this. And that's real strength for me.
Colors fade in the sun. They blend at the soul when they're touching the water.
This song, called Steamy Windows, was also written in basically probably even the same chair as Leather Skin. It was just another day that I was chilling at Bob's place, and there was this crazy hailstorm. They were talking about it like all over the television in Australia, because it was like in Merimbula, but it was also in Sydney, and the whole East Coast probably was like hit by this immense hailstorm with like hail like this, you know? It's like tennis balls, footballs coming down from the sky. We were lucky. For us it was only tennis balls, but it was already like crazy. And after this hailstorm stopped, I was sitting inside, and we were like just praying that no window gets broken, and I don't know how, but it didn't happen, and we still were like all good. But the windows were all completely full of steam because of the temperature change and everything. And I got this melancholic feeling, you know, that sitting there, and these windows were like blurred. And this was also for me like my future, because seeing these windows was like, yeah, that's how I feel. I'm in this van right now traveling, and I could go back to Germany afterwards, going on with my studies, going on with my normal life, back to my family, to all these people and all these things that I know and love. But I feel like there's more out there, but it's unclear. I cannot see it. And it also made me question lots of things in that moment. So I called this song Steamy Windows. And it made me realize like there were so many memories coming up, like of time I spent with past partners, like time I spent with my family, and the story of my mother, and like how my sister distanced from us, and how I distanced from my family in the past, and all these things came together in the song, resulting in a very melancholic and dramatic feeling. It's like colors fade in the sun, I remember, and like the mother loses her daughter. That was like, especially just in general, I was thinking about my mother and my sister, but especially about our mother in general, because she went through a really tough time, and before I went to Australia. And yeah, I think it was one way for me to like think about this, that nothing is guaranteed, and we have all these amazing things, and I'm happy to experience them. I'm happy to have these people in my life, but you have to be aware that it's all going to fade, and that can make you sad sometimes. But then again, it doesn't have to, because it's the wave. And even though everything changes, at least you know that the change will always be there. So nothing will be forever.
A girl, and she's just doing as she wants. You lost the bricks in your wall. I've been knocking at your door. Don't play me tricks on this call. Finger knuckles got some sugar. Lost the bricks in your wall. I've been knocking at your door. Don't play me tricks on this call. All my knuckles got so short.
I Know a Girl is probably one of probably the happiest song on the EP, which is a little bit ironic regarding how the whole thing turned out in the end. But Well, yeah, I wrote this song for a girl that I met in Mirimbula through Bob, actually, again. So most of these songs on the EP are inspired by people I met through Bob, which is like, you know, life. But yeah, I went out onto these rocks outside of the town into the ocean, and I was sitting there with the sun coming down, and I met this girl. She was called Elle, and Bob introduced me to her. And we have been talking about maybe she would join me on my journey traveling and going on. And I was already in my mind I was so sure that I'm not going to go back to Germany because I wanted to keep on traveling the world. And in the end, we came to the conclusion that, well, she was quite a couple of years older than me and she already had done all that traveling. And I know that she still was excited to do it, but she had done it, and what she needed most was to settle down somewhere and to ground herself, and she was in a different stage of life, I think. And for me, it would have been interesting, and I really wanted, like, I've always felt like it would be the coolest thing to have a partner with me traveling the world, which I did with Paulo, but it's still a little bit different, the intimacy in a relationship with a romantic partner, you know? Even though it was quite romantic with Paulo as well. But, well, yeah. It just turned out to be better to stay separate, even though we met again when I came back down there with Paulo. But I still wrote that song about her and what I was thinking, because she was a really amazing person, and we had like great talks about, we had very similar views upon life and similar lifestyles as well. But I realized that she was holding back so much of her potential because she also felt insecure for lots of things. For example, her voice. She felt like she couldn't sing as loud as other people do because she just has a weak voice, which is not true. So in the song I say like she lowers her voice when she sings, or she's afraid to spread her wings. And I just packaged a lot of little details that I knew about her at that moment. The actually sad part about, sad is always like a matter of perspective, but I got a message a few months ago that Elle actually died after she fell in the woods, and she did buy a little house somewhere and followed her plans that she had, and she found a man she could stay with there. And yeah, it's a little bit sad because she was about to do all that she wanted, like grounding herself, building a family and everything, but it's just my personal opinion. I just don't see death as something bad for that person, which gives lots of room for for argumentation. But I just believe that you cannot label death as something bad in general. So that's why I don't feel bad for her. But it definitely was like a shock to like hear that this person has just left this world. And of course that's like kind of strange because I know her and she's this young 29, 30-year-old lady, and life's just over for her, which makes this song so, yeah, ironic for me that it's the most happy song even though she has left us. But maybe that's just the beauty of it actually, yeah. I just wish that she would have had more time to take these things that I said, like these insecurities that I was talking about in the song, and to turn these into her different self that she was like able to be sometimes, that I saw inside her that she could be so expressive and impressive as well. Well, yeah, but that's just the way life goes sometimes. And I know a girl, or I knew a girl that was like this. So this was the last part of the introduction series to the way of the songwriter. And if you want to see how we continue this journey, then please click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can see what's going to come up in the next month. Hopefully we will actually talk about how we are starting to convert the bus into the recording studio. We are going to have a look at the bus in a few days on this weekend. I'm excited to see how that works out, if that's the right thing. You never know, but I'll tell you the next time we talk to each other here. Until then, I hope you have a great time and stay true to yourself. Bye bye.